That's also why Mr. Joe Byron, Let's Go Brandon, uh, put out an executive order to ensure responsible development of digital assets. Now, I'm going to try to read as much of this as I can bear to read, which is way too much. But I'm probably just going to read the first couple bit. I will have the entire thing for you to read. I have read the entire thing. I didn't have it highlighted, so I'm not going to deal with it, but I'm going to read the beginning parts of it because this is very important. So I lied. I'm not reading the entire thing, but that's how you hook someone to watch the whole thing. Here we go. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1. Policy. Advances in digital and distributed ledgers technology for financial services have led to a dramatic growth in markets for digital assets, with profound implications for the protection of consumers, investors, and businesses, including data privacy and security, financial stability and systematic risk, crime and national security. This is what they really care about. And the human rights, financial inclusion and equality, and energy demand and climate change. In November 2021, no non-state issued digital assets reached a combined market capitalization of $3 trillion, up from approximately $14 billion in early November 2016. Monetary authorities globally are also exploring and, in some cases, introducing central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. While many activities involving digital assets are within the scope of existing domestic laws and regulations, an area where the United States has been a global leader, growing development and adoption of digital assets and related innovations, as well as inconsistent controls to defend against certain key risks, necessitate an evolution and alignment of the United States government approach to digital assets. The United States has an interest in responsible financial innovation, expanding access to safe and affordable financial services, and reducing the cost of domestic and cross-border funds transfers and payments, including through the continued modernization of public payment systems. Public payment systems means MasterCard, Visa, not really public because they can literally shut off anyone, including Russia and the hub and any OnlyFans, the people who pressure the people to do these things. So I'm just going to keep reading and stop interjecting. We must take strong steps to reduce the risk that digital assets could pose to consumers, investors, and business protections, financial stability, and financial integrity, combating and prevent. If you're ever trying to make someone remember and have a paragraph stick in your head, always put what you want at the end of the paragraph. And here we go. Combating and preventing crime and illicit financial, national security, and the ability to exercise human rights, financial inclusion, equity, climate change, and pollution. That's what they really care about. Section 2. Objectives. The principal policy objectives of the United States with respect to digital assets are as followed. I can imagine Joe Byron typing all this out. We must protect consumers, investors, and businesses in the United States. The unique and varied features of digital assets can pose significant financial risks to consumers, investors, and businesses if appropriate protections are not in place. In the absence of sufficient oversight and standards, firms providing digital asset services may provide inadequate protections for sensitive financial data, agree, custodial and other arguments related to customer assets and funds, or disclosures of risks associated with investments. Cybersecurity and market failures at major digital asset exchanges and trading platforms have resulted in billions of dollars in losses, and I'll be talking about it. Axios, the game, I'll be talking about that hack, $600 million that just happened. resulted in billions of dollars in losses. The United States should ensure that safeguards are in place and promote the responsible development of digital assets to protect consumers, investors, and businesses, maintain privacy. Yeah, definitely. Real privacy. Shield against arbitrary and unlawful surveillance, by you, which can contribute to human rights abuses. We must protect the United States and global financial stability and mitigate system risk. Fuck you. I still want that shit to go up 800%. Say some digital asset trading platforms and services have grown rapidly in size and complexity and may not be subject to or in compliance with appropriate regulations or supervision. Digital assets and digital asset insurers, exchanges, and trading platforms and intermediaries whose activities may increase risks to financial stability should, as appropriate, be subject to and in compliance with regulatory and supervisionary standards that govern traditional market infrastructures and financial firms, in line with general practices of same business, same risks, same rules. The new and unique uses of functions that digital assets can facilitate may create additional economic and financial risks, requiring an evolution to the regulatory approach to adequately address those risks. They want to turn it into the normal banking system with when you join the exchange, you got to give them, you got to fucking fist them. You got to get fist up the ass for your privacy. Can't buy no Monero, can't buy no nothing without giving them your ID. We must mitigate the illicit financial and national security risks posed by misuse of digital assets. Digital assets may pose significant illicit financial risks, including money laundering, cybercrime, and ransomware, even though the US dollar is used for all of that right now as we speak. It's the number one used currency for money laundering. USD. Cash, baby. Cybercrime and ransomware, narcotics and human trafficking, and terrorism and proliferation financial. All right. Digital assets may also be used as a tool to circumvent United States and foreign financial sanctions, regimes, and other tools and authorities. Further, while the United States has been a leader in setting international standards for the regulation and supervision of digital assets for anti-money laundering and countering the financing of the T-word, poor or non-existent implementation of those standards in some jurisdictions abroad can present significant illicit financing risks for the United States because we don't want them. We want everyone to use USD, otherwise our financial system will crash. Global financial systems. Ransomware. Illicit actors, including the perpetuators of ransomware indicates and other incidents and other cybercrime often launder and cash out their illicit proceeds using digital asset service providers in jurisdictions that have not yet efficiently implemented the international standards set by the Intergovernmental Financial Action Task Force. Basically, they signed up on an exchange where they didn't need your ID and they didn't need to know all of your banking information and who you are. The continued ability for service providers in jurisdictions where international standards are not effectively implemented enables financial activities without illicit finance controls. Growth in decentralized financial ecosystems, peer-to-peer payment activity, and obscured blockchain ledgers without controls to mitigate illicit finance could also present additional market and national security risks in the future. The United States must ensure appropriate controls and accountability for current and future digital asset systems to promote high standards for transparency, privacy, and security, including through regulatory governance and technological measures that counter illicit activities and preserve or enhance the efficiency of our national security tools. When digital assets are abused or used in illicit ways or undermine national security, it is in the national interest to take actions and mitigate these illicit financial and national security risks through regulation, oversight, law enforcement action, or the use of United States government authorities. We must reinforce the United States leadership in the global financial system, in technological, economic, including through the responsible development of a payment initiative and digital assets. The United States has an interest in assuring that it remains at the forefront of responsible development and design of digital assets and the technology that underpins new forms of payments and capital flows in the international financial system, particularly in settings standard to promote democratic values, the rule of law, real privacy also, and protection of consumer, investors and businesses. Thank you very much. With digital platforms, legacy architecture, and international payment systems, the United States derives significant economic and national security benefits from the central role the United States dollar and United States financial institutions and markets play in the global financial system. Continued United States leadership in the global financial system will sustain United States financial power and promote United States economic interests. All right. 2 more of these paragraphs and we'll be good. We must promote access and safe, affordable financial services. Many Americans are unbanked. Unbanked. That's because they don't want to have a fucking bank account. And the cost of cross-border money transfers and payments are high. This is the cool part. The United States has a strong interest in promoting responsible innovation that expands equality access to equitable access to financial services, as long as we get all of your personal information and your tax ID, particularly those Americans underserved by traditional banking system, including by making investments and domestic and cross-border fund transfers and payments cheaper, faster, and safer, and by promoting greater and more cost-effective access to financial products and services. The United States also has an interest in assuring that the benefits of financial innovation are enjoyed equitably and by all Americans, and that any disparate impacts of financial innovation are mitigated. All right, whatever. Last one. We must support technological advances that promote responsible development and use of digital assets. The technology architecture of different digital assets has substantial implications for privacy, national security, and operational security and resilience of our financial system, climate change, and ability to exercise human rights and other national goals. The United States has an interest in assuring that digital asset technologies and digital payment ecosystems are developed, designed, and implemented in a responsible manner that includes privacy and security. We just want the back door. In their architecture, integrates features and controls that defend against illicit exploitation rug pulls and reduces negative climate impacts and environmental pollution as may result from cryptocurrency mining. So that's the first 2 sections, section A and B. I'm not going to read any more because time on this episode is already going up. I'm sure I'm getting close on time. So I'd check it out. Read it if you really want. This is basically the kick in the ass that the White House wants to get something passed in the next couple of years in regards to the digital asset stuff. Who knows when it's going to be coming, but I guess we'll find out soon. Something that is coming pretty soon, we think, is been looking a lot at Block.